What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's Macro Talk 2, Thursday, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And after saying that I would never let this happen again, I've just been talking to myself for the last 5 minutes, thinking I was live. It's complicated, don't worry about it. It's all to do with electrons. Who's here today? Dimitris from Athens, Greece, our only Athenian of the day. Welcome, Dimitris. You have a question right out of the gate. You've received the Wii Macro adapter for the Raynox 150. Is it possible to be used with the Raynox DCR 250 as well? Yes and no. Yes, it can be used with it, but not at the same time. You have to take the other one off. Yes, it will. The adapter works exactly the same. Same thread sizes on both ends of that thing. So you're all set. Good to go. That 250 is great for short focusing stuff. You'll like that. And greetings, Stuart. Welcome. Stuart and I got together yesterday for part 2 of our conversation. In part 1, we kind of rambled around, had a good time, didn't talk about anything specific or important. And yesterday we dealt with the important stuff. So it's a better, I think, a better conversation all the way around. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about today, and I can't remember who asked me or directed me to give an update on MJKZZ, the company from Vienna that does the macro rails. But I want to give that brief presentation, and I want to catch you up on a lot of things that are going on, things that you might want to know about, but I'm going to wait until, well, it is just about 2 o'clock. I want to wait until it's exactly 2 o'clock so nobody thinks I cut them off there. But there you go. Graham is here. Welcome, Graham. It's windy in Surrey. Not windy here, just sunny, and that's nice. Stuart is ill again. Well, that is just not good. I mean, you can't blame me. I mean, I was sitting here just talking to you on the video yesterday. I couldn't have infected you over the sound waves. Maybe I could have done. There may be a buzz that you're hearing. A friend of mine heard this buzz during my last live stream and whipped out his spectral analyzer and told me it was coming from one of my hard drives. And I decided I'd turn them all off, and then I realized I can't because all of my content's on my hard drives, and when I do, nothing works. So if there's a buzz, that's what it is, and I'm going to try to find it and isolate it and blow it up or something. Get rid of it somehow. What else do I want to talk to you about today? Bunch of stuff. DIY. There's going to be several things on DIY, so we'll do that as a section. And then I've got a bit of news for you. For those of you, we'll do that right now. For those of you who have had, one of the more common criticisms that I get is, you've done lots of videos, you've got lots of content out there that we enjoy, but you can't find it if you need to see it. If you want to look at something again, it's hard to find. That's because somewhere along the line I decided instead of having descriptive titles for my videos, I'd have clever titles. That was a bad idea, one of many bad ideas. And even I can't remember the clever titles that I gave these videos, so they become kind of lost. Well, they're not lost anymore because a person we know and love, Curly Toes, one of us, a macro photographer and a genius at the computer stuff, has written it's a spell, it's a magic spell, that when I say it, it allows all of my content to be searchable. Now, I just found out about that a minute ago, and I didn't understand a word of what he said about it. So I'm going to have to find out how you use it, or how I use it, so you can find my stuff. But that's the whole point, is you'll now be able to find everything easily, quickly, and there you go. I think that's a fantastic bit of news. I've got so much good news and interesting news to share with you about stuff that is in progress right now. Even some stuff that already happened. You know, several of you have been waiting for me to review the Micromate, the device made by WeMacro for using with your microscope. If you have a microscope and you want to focus stack, you need a way to twiddle the fine focus adjuster, and that's what this device does. That's a very simple job it's got to do, and it does it perfectly well and very accurately. And my review of it was done as a live review, which is the first time I've done that. And yeah, it went over fine, and the equipment is a good priced, completely reliable, highly accurate stepping device for a microscope. There were two things about it I didn't like. You can watch that video if you want to get the details, but the two things were the grabby bit that turns the knob. I don't like that, and I think there are modifications I would recommend making to it, but I explained that. The second thing was the whole thing doesn't come bolted to anything, so you have to bolt it to the surface that your microscope's on, otherwise it has a tendency to move. And when you're moving a fine focus adjuster that's moving your stage about half a micron, that's not something you want to be jiggling around. Yeah, so that's the only two things I had, and they're minor, easy to fix things. Otherwise, I think it's a cracking good product. Talking about products, I want to talk today about the company MJKZZ. That's something I've been asked to do, and I failed to get prepared for it last week because I was so busy. I was busy this week as well, but I did review all of the new stuff they've got over there and go over that pretty thoroughly. I want to talk about that in just a little while. What else? I want to talk about some great ideas that came out of the computer, Chat GPT to be precise. That was a project I did this last weekend with my Patreon people, and I want to tell you the upshot of it. I know I discussed this on Tuesday, but I want everybody to know about it because it may change the approach to Patreon that you have. So let me see who's here, and I can do some hellos while everybody's getting here. Baconmeister's here, and yeah, they're comparing aches and pains. They are, and I would say that Baconmeister has earned the right to do that. Tell me you're out of the hospital, Baconmeister. You're all better now, right? I do hope so. David Green from sunny Leeds, and Ralph Watson from northwest London. Whereabouts in London? Whereabouts exactly? That's near the airport, isn't it? Or is that West London? Yeah. I don't really know. What am I thinking of? What is it? Milton Keynes. That's out that way, isn't it? Further out. Yeah. There you go. I'm pretty brilliant at geography. You'll notice. Nils is here from Norway. That's not in England. That's to the left of England, or the right, depending on whether you're in the map or looking at the map. Yeah. I'll stop giving geography pointers right now. Here's a question from Walter. Greetings, Walter. How are you, my friend? Would you please demonstrate how you use your magic diffusion material during a photo shoot? I'm essentially interested in the cylinder that surrounds the subject. I will do exactly that, but I can't do it right at this second. I'll tell you why. I'm doing a test shot with a lens that's top secret that I can't show you. So I can't go over there with the camera. But it'll finish in a minute, and then I'll go get the diffuser. But I can't take it off. And this is a 450 shot stack, but it's been going for a while. I will do a diffusion demo towards the end of the hour. And if that shot isn't finished, I'll stop it and we'll do the demo. It's very simple, but like everything else, it's got tricky bits. So we'll do that. You know, I've got more cameras than a man should really be allowed to have now, all set up all around me. You've seen most of them. You haven't seen the macro cam, and you won't see it today because it's not working. I took it apart. It's a camera that's got 4 cameras on my dissection area, so you can see all different angles at the same time. It gave me vertigo, but you might like it. We've got the scope, of course, as always, and I was just looking at some chippy stuff earlier on. There's a trick for you, a top tip. If you're looking at chips and you find one that's got some interesting stuff on it when you're scanning it under the microscope, just put a mark with a felt marker on the quadrant that your interesting thing is in, so that when you get to the camera you'll know what to look for. That's what I do anyway. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. The other camera that I set up was this one. I'm going to show you right now. But the thing is, I didn't point it anywhere properly, did I? It's down here, but it's got a delay. Let me see if I didn't point it right. But don't worry about that. We won't be using this one today. This is one of the ones that I'm pointing at now that normally is going to be looking under the microscope so that you can see what's going on. Nifty stuff, eh? Then there's that one up there, which is that's in case you want to see my décolletage, which you probably don't. I understand that. And then we've got the old trusty Zerina scope. This is a photograph that I took yesterday with the lens that I can't tell you about, and it's a tiger beetle, and this was a thrown together shot, last minute, rushed, everything done wrong, and this is the image that we got. I think you would have to agree that this is a pretty spectacular rendition of color and form. Yeah, I haven't edited this, obviously. I haven't done anything with it. It's a bit of a mess, to be honest. But it shows what I was excited about, which is just how extremely well this lens does with color. And for some reason, my fingers have stopped working. My fingertips are not resizing the picture. Don't ask me why. Yeah, I was using glue earlier on today, and I've got glue all over my fingertips, and they've stopped working on the computer. Did you know that happened? Interesting stuff. Okay, where was I? DIY, let's start there. DIY, lots of you are into DIY, maybe not quite as insanely as I am sometimes, but you love to make stuff, fix stuff, improve stuff. Well, that was one of the things that we've been doing over on Patreon. We do a lot of DIY. We talk about rigs that people have made and modified and improved. And one of the big questions that came up was 3D printers. And I had a guest on the Patreon per Zoom meeting that we do every other week. A per Zoom meeting is where we get together on, it's like this, only it's live, it's 2 hours long, but it's on Zoom. So we actually communicate back and forth in words, not just pictures and typing. And I had a guest on who came and talked to us all about buying a 3D printer. And the things you have to look for, and what makes a printer a good printer, and so on. And his name was Josh McCullough. He's a brilliant guy, friend of Bud, who is not here yet, I don't think. But it may be coming along shortly, don't know. But he's a friend of Bud's, and he came on and he talked to us. And then after, we talked some more, and he said he'd love to come back on and talk more about setting up the printers and so on, which I thought would be great because I'm getting one, thanks to Jan Nelson, who has given us a grant to do that. And in the process of this conversation, boy, I do go on, don't I, when it comes to just telling a straightforward story. Anyway, he said, do any of your people, meaning you, I think, do any of your people want to know how to use Fusion 360, the CAD program that most people who make serious stuff use so that they can design it? Like I used it to design the new iPhone. For some reason, Apple says they've already got an iPhone that they designed for the 15, so they'll bear it in mind for the 16, but yeah, So there you go. And I couldn't have done this without Fusion 360. But not everybody is as good as me at Fusion 360. So they thought maybe, Josh thought maybe if we did a lesson for you guys, like a workshop online, free, that you might like that. And I spoke for all of you when I said, yes, we would very much like that. We've already got, I think, somewhere between 12 and 20 people signed up. And I do need you to sign up if you want to come. But this invitation is open to everybody. That was the one thing that I had to insist on, was that this be open to the whole world who wanted to come. And I am so excited about it, because I do not know how to draw a straight line in Fusion 360. So this is going to be fun. If you want to come, you can leave me a note here. If you are a Patreoner, you can leave me a note over in Patreon. You can, if one of our moderators is here, you can leave a message with them. Just get me the word somehow. The last resort is to email me and put something like Fusion 360 or Josh or something like that in the title so I can find it. But that doesn't guarantee I'll find it. We don't know when it's going to be, so don't ask. It'll be when Josh says, hey, I can do that thing this weekend, and then we'll do it. I'm guessing it'll be on a Saturday, but I don't know. I'm going to have a cutoff at some number. I don't know what that is, but we're not there yet. So get your name in as quick as you can. Sound like fun? Sounds like fun to me. I've wanted to learn that program for years, and I've started several times and just didn't have the time to devote to it. What else was I going to show you? I was going to show you something. Oh yeah. This thing that I'm reviewing, that I can't tell you about, I think stands a very good chance of, let me see if I can get the right words for this without sounding melodramatic. I think it's going to change the way some people take photographs of small things. Let me show you a picture. This is a photograph of, no, that's a chip right there. This is a photograph of one of those chips. I forgot what I called the screen. There it is. This looks like a fairly nice picture of just a chip. You don't really realize until you zoom in and look at the texture of the materials in here, that you're actually looking at the very smallest part. This is at 35 times magnification, by the way. And you may see this color fringing and think, oh, well, there you go. It's the lens isn't that good because it's got chromatic aberration. This isn't chromatic aberration. If you look to both sides of the picture, you'll notice that the colors don't change sides. This is actually just reflections from the different materials used in the device, the blue and the red. This is not fringing. This is actually a remarkable photograph, and I mean, it's nothing remarkable about the photograph in the just because I took it. It's a remarkable lens that it was taken with. Yeah, that's all I'm going to tell you about it for right now, because I've got more testing to do. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what the flashes are. Let's see. Who else is here today? Stuart is concerned that he looks like he's dying on his last video. Stuart, don't be concerned. I look that way in all my videos. And yeah, you just get used to it. It's okay. It'll only get worse as you get older. So we'll come back and do the diffusion bit in a minute. And I should have brought in my big roll of diffusion material, but I don't know where I've put it. I've hidden it away for safekeeping, which means I'll probably never see it again. If you're one of the people that is waiting or would like to get some of this diffusion material that I'm going to demo today, you need to give me your name and address, and you need to do that through Discord. I can't think of any other way to do it. Right now I have names all over the place. So this may well involve doing it in a couple of different batches. I've got the stuff all cut up and I don't have any envelopes big enough, so I've got to go buy some envelopes. You don't care about these details, do you? Okay, if you don't get your diffusion material but you gave me your name, then we're going to have a second go around where you embarrass me by telling me I forgot you. I've got the list here, but we're not going to do a roll call or anything. It's getting very big. I may have to limit it to one roll of stamps. Okay, so I was saying hello to people like, let me see, Susan from Huntsville, North Alabama, I mean. Huntsville is in North Alabama, so welcome, Susan. Stuart, you fell asleep during the conversation yesterday while we were recording. I just filled in for you, so if you need to nap, I'll fill in for you now, no problem. I'm hoping Stuart's going to start doing a live stream so I can go and give him problems. Tell him his sound isn't working 2 minutes in. That usually gets him. Patrick's here, welcome, from the Netherlands. Yeah, that's an interesting way to spell it. You don't have schools over there? I'm just kidding, I'm sorry. Let me see, Sam Davis is here. Not Junior. Sammy, no, okay. From somewhere beginning with P in South Africa. Glad you're here and hope you're well. Mike Olson from sunny Phoenix and Rob Watt from Peebles. Peebles is in Scotland, by the way. Those of you who are not geography aces like I am. Larry's here, half listening while working. Well, I usually encourage people to half work while listening, but yeah, under the circumstances. Larry, talking about Fusion 360, is one of those geniuses. Again, I use the word very cautiously, but this guy knows his engineering and he's a user of 3D printers. He teaches it. So I'm trying to talk him into coming to the workshop thing, so that we can have two geniuses there teaching. It'll be so much fun. I can't wait for this thing. And Toluca's here, greetings, and is Chris also, photographer 85, welcome from Vienna. We're going to be talking about Vienna in just a few minutes, believe it or not. Vienna doesn't come up that often in photography live streams, but it's coming up twice today. Once to say hi to you, and the other one is MJKZZ's Vienna based. Didn't know that. Jay's here, greetings. David, hi everyone, he says. Hi David, say we. And Lance, greetings. Did I just skip over somebody? Nope, Harold's here from Norway. Looking forward to a great evening. Oh, what are you doing? Something fun after this? Yeah, I'm looking forward to a busy afternoon. My goodness, you should see my studio. It is an absolute abomination. You know my friend Chris Field, the videographer with the BBC, photographer, time-lapse genius. He's a genius too. I know a lot of geniuses. I was telling him I'd be more than happy to help him with one of his photography projects, because we work together a bit now. We do some stuff together, and I told him I'd be happy to do some of the lifting with the photography, and he said, "Oh, that sounds great. That sounds great." And somewhere in there he may have said, "And I'll send you a robot." But a robot arrived this morning. It's as big as I am, and I'm knee deep in peanuts, packing peanuts and robot parts. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. I didn't want to. I told him that the robot arrived. It's been very well behaved since it got here because I haven't plugged it in, and yeah, we'll take it from there. There's a video in there, you know it. Me putting together a robot to take pictures. That's going to be good. So where was I? I was saying hi to Angie. Greetings, Angie. Angie's our resident flower photographer, and she's limbering up her flower photography muscles for May, because in May she's going to be the guest judge, who's going to help me judge the pictures of flowers that are going to come rolling in as soon as this month's competition, which is dead and decomposing things, is over. Has anybody taken a picture of something decomposing? This was not one of my most genius ideas, I'll be the first to admit. So it'll be a challenge for somebody to come up with an interesting picture of something that's rotting. It makes me a bit nauseous to see things that are rotting, to be honest. But it'll be flowers in May, and I am really, really looking forward to working with Angie because her pictures are cracking. Now, we got another guest who I confirmed with last night in June, a guest judge. This one is Rick Littlefield, and he's going to be judging your stereo submissions. And let me tell you, that guy, he's picky. He is picky about his stereo. And he's not going to be easy on you. So you better take good pictures, is all I'm saying. I'll have some input, and I don't know anything about it. So if I like you, you'll probably get a good score. But yeah, seeing as he's involved, you better practice. So let me see. Arthur Wagner's here, great, and Joseph is here. Greetings, Joseph. It really is sunny in Detroit. I did not know that. I mean, I didn't know it was ever sunny in Detroit. It's never been when I was there. I'm coming to Detroit. Yes, I am. Oh no, I'm not. It's another city in your state. Sorry about that. It gave you a fright, I know. And I couldn't get rid of the buzzing noise. I was warning people about this earlier. We may have narrowed it down to one of my drives, but I still can't turn them off because that's where all my stuff is kept. So there you go. A Proud Liberals here from Chicago. I do love that town. Are you in Chicago or are you in the suburbs of Chicago? I like the actual town where the museum and that big metal coffee bean are. I like that part. Very nice. Dublin, Ireland, another nice place. John, did you move from... yeah, you did. You were in... were you not in Northern Ireland like a week ago? Yeah, I think you were. You might be moving around. Ingolf's here from Germany. Same place. He's been in Germany all along. Yeah, I don't know what germs over IP mean. It's... oh, no, you're probably talking about me infecting... Mr. Wood. Yeah, there you go. That was me about the MJKZZ, says Harold. Well, good. You're getting ready to get your answer. More answer than you probably wanted. And yeah, and Phil's here from Cambria, California. Welcome. Graham's got a question. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's just criticizing my hum. You know, a lot of people have asked for recordings of this hum. They think they like it. And... yeah, they want to play it in the background or something. Let me see if you've got a tip here. There's still a background hum. I make it at 116.3 hertz. Yeah, that's what I thought it probably was too. But I don't suppose that would help much. Might be worth trying a DI isolator box to kill the earth loop. I don't want to kill the earth. That's overkill. I mean, that's really... is there something we can do that's less disruptive than that? Yeah, I will do that. I've got a box to put them in, all the drives, and I will do that. I just didn't have a chance to do it since Tuesday. Sorry about that. Is that important that it's only 113 hertz and 116 hertz instead of the 120 that Joseph measured? No idea. All sounds the same to me. What are you shooting in the background? One of the new bugs? I am shooting another tiger beetle. Yes, I am, because I am doing... Now, how can I do this without giving the game away? I am shooting the same tiger beetle with different optical arrangements. Yep. And as each of the sets of photographs I take progress, I need more and more pictures, which is a hint for the you know, the investigator in you. And yeah, I can't really tell you more than that. Soon I will be able to, and it's gonna rock you back on your heels. I'm not kidding. It is. You know who it rocked back on their heels last night during a conversation and a look at some pictures? Yep. Rick. Rick was impressed. That's twice he's been impressed. Don't take that lightly. All right, Angie was wondering if everyone is still trying stereo photography. I was just wondering how many people can actually see them by crossing eyes. Hardly anyone can see mine. Well, if I had to guess, I'd say that about maybe a third of the people that I know who do this, a third need to use glasses to see them. About 2/3 can see them in the cross-eyed ones without glasses. I need to look at the parallel ones with glasses. It's hard for you to just show a picture to somebody who's never done stereo and say, here, look at this, and see the stereo. They won't see it. You have to train them how to cross their eyes and blend the images together. You know, when we do the stereo competition, I'll get Rick to explain that to you better. And as we start that competition, I'm going to lay out the ground rules about you have to turn in a picture in a particular format, either cross-eyed or parallel, and label it that way so that we know how to judge them. But and if you don't want to do that, or if you don't have Zerine but you still want to enter the competition, that's good too. You can just do an old-fashioned stereo photograph where you two pictures from different angles. Focus stack, because there'll be little things that you're photographing maybe. That's the old-fashioned way of doing it, and they're presented the same way the synthetics are. So we'll talk about that later on. But don't worry about it, Angie. If people can't see them, just ignore them. Ignore those people. That you don't need them in your life anyway if they can't see your pictures. Alistair's here, welcome, and Robbie is here, welcome. Let me see. Joseph. Now, there's a conversation going on between Robbie and Joseph, but my name crops up in it. It's Allan's recommendation to restore eye color on a sand digging wasp. Now, how would I know how to restore color on a sand digging wasp? Was because I just did it. In fact, I did a stereo of one of these sand digging wasps, but I didn't know that was what it was. I called it a hunting wasp. Would you like to see it? I'll see if I can find it. It was a nice picture, actually. I just have to figure out where I put it. You know how that is. I think it's going to be right here. Yeah, it is. It's in this. I did a stereo of this wasp, and the eyes are very odd. They do something strange. Here it is. I went straight to it. Let me just get it to. This is parallel, so you'll need glasses to see this. Let me see if I can. So the way this wasp was when I saw it first. Let me get my glasses. The eyes had gone kind of pale, a pinkish color, which is just the cuticle separating from the eye underneath. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, I'll look at the big one instead. Very nice, very nice. Yeah, and restoring there are several things that do it, but Decon 90 actually didn't work on this, but just using some what did I use? A little acid and some pepsin. Might have been that. I can't remember what it was. Terrible story that, because I started it and then couldn't remember what it was I used. I have a feeling that Robbie will remind me. Anyway, yeah, that's a sand digging wasp. I didn't know that. It was we don't have them down here. These bugs are all from Nanus Bay, which is in the Arctic Circle. Tundra, permafrost. Think too cold, never go in there. Up there, it's where it is. It's actually in BC, which is a kind of headache powder. Yeah, I don't know what that's got to do with geography. Okay, I just got a big yellow banner. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Viewers are experiencing buffering. Uh-oh. That makes me think maybe I've done something. My signal appears to be fine here, so I don't know. I don't know if I did something wrong or what, but let's ignore it for now. Lance, I'm struggling on finding those 3D glasses. Yeah, you know, they are hard to find. The reason I keep putting the links up for them is because they are the best. But there are others, cheaper ones that they make that are just foldy things that you can put on that do work. Any that you can find will work just fine. The person to ask that about is Joseph, because he would know if there's another brand or another place that you can get them, because he's a 3D stereo wizard. So let me see. I got out of order here. Holy mackerel! You guys write faster than I answer. I need to talk quicker, and I'm not going to pause just yet and for the MJKZZ thing until I get a bit more caught up. So we talked about the background hum and the background picture and stereo. Right, so we're all caught up there. Okay, now the new website. This ties in. We'll talk about MJKZZ. What is MJKZZ? It's a person who has a business, and his business is macro photography. He makes and sells rails. He sells a lot of other things too. Accessories, water drop equipment, controllers. And he's been in business for quite a while. He's a fairly knowledgeable chap. He's got well-developed opinions on things. And he's a frequent contributor over on PMN, photomacrography.net. That is how I know of him. He and I have never met, but I read what he posts. And I had not been on his website in a long time. And I have made a couple of comments in the past, which were partially substantiated rumors, really, about the fact that some of the rails that he was selling, the automated rails, were repurposed industrial rails that had been decommissioned and refurbished and then sold for macro photography through his site. I have not been able to get in touch with him directly. I tried today, and I will continue trying to get the word from the source as to whether or not this is actually true or not. He has a very impressive selection of rails. Now, he has some manual rails, the Cibo and the Nisi and a couple of others, a couple of cheap ones that are a little expensive, and they're manual, so that it's a place to start. His automated rails are a strange bunch. They start with a thing that I really can't imagine using. It's a belt-driven rail. It uses a belt drive instead of a screw, and that belt drives your camera. It looks like a regular focus stacking rail, has a motor on the back and a black belt that drags the camera along. He clearly states on his website that this is a new thing, by the way. I've not seen it before. I did not know anybody was making a belt drive stacking rail. It's about, what was it, $240. And it uses a 0.9 degree motor, which is a 400 step motor. It's something like this, which is a very high precision motor. Using a motor like that on a belt drive and then recommending it only be used up to 5 times magnification would make me wonder why you would buy it. If you were going to invest in something like that, you'd probably want something that could get all the magnification you would likely ever need. So the other rails that he has are kind of they're presented as if they are for a given level of photographer, like the SR90P, which is his first lead screw rail, is $535, but it's only good up to 10 times magnification. I'm not exactly sure why. It seems to be a fairly solid rail, but it's driven on a single midline track. It doesn't have outrigger tracks, support tracks. That, just talk to Graham if you want to know why the support beam separation is important. It prevents this side to side shimmy that ruins your photograph. Well, it doesn't have any of them. Everything's on the midline, which makes it probably not the best design. Before you get to the cool rail, I'm sure you're supposed to pronounce it cool, QOOL. That's not as expensive. It's only $415 to $458. You can upgrade it to the 400-step motor for another $100. That now has the lateral rails, and it's one of the MJKZZ rails that I've actually worked with. I've worked with the Ultra Rail Mini, the Cool, and the Extreme Pro rail, but not any of these two cheaper ones. The Ultra Pro is a 600, and it's probably the most direct competitor to Stackshot. Yeah, it's got a much better actuator. It's got a really high quality linear actuator and the same good motor at $623. And then for $864, you can get their Extreme Pro rail, which is, I've got to move robot parts. The Extreme Pro rail is very similar to this. This is a closed loop system with a rail you can see down in there. It's supported laterally. This is a very rigid, stable system that has a motor with feedback. It's a closed loop servo stepper. This is on the lines of what their top of the line rail is, only yeah, it's good. The controller can step it at 1/128th steps. It has a screw pitch of 0.5 millimeter, which means at least practically you could get down to 1/3 of a micron step, which is pretty short steps, and a very nice rail. So there is nothing about this guy's site or about the equipment that he sells that I would criticize. I don't think that the rails that I've seen, and I have put together big expensive rigs for people using his rails, I don't think that any of the motors or any of the actuators that I saw looked to me that they'd been in heavy use anywhere. They look new. So we'll see what he says. But if you're thinking about buying from them, yeah, just be very cautious, like you would buying from Stackshot or WeMacro, and read the specs and know what you're going to be using it for. But leave yourself some headroom. Buy something that you can grow into. I mean, don't get a rail that you're going to need to replace with another rail in a year when you decide to buy a 20x objective. I would think that would not be good practice. Talking about objectives, I was a little struck by the prices of the Mitutoyo objectives that his site is selling. And then I went over to Edmund's Optics and realized that the prices had changed while I was asleep at some point. And the MJKZZ is not overcharging for these objectives. I mean, you can get them cheaper, but you can also get them much more expensively. I mean, he charges, what, $896 for the 5. That's high. You can get it for $700 here, or we were getting them for $400 from Light Glass. The 20X is $3,174 from MJKZZ. It's $3,666 from Edmunds. And if you just really want to blow it out, get the 50X HR, which has a 0.8 NA, I think. It's $6,012 from MJKZZ, and it's $100 more from Edmunds. So these are stupid expensive lenses and very high prices. But most of his stuff is reasonably priced. It really is. It's good equipment. The stuff that I've used, the stuff I've worked with, is very well made, precision equipment, and I've seen the results of it. Also, it's certainly a viable option. If I have been at all dismissive of it in the past, it is only because I have not owned one. I haven't used one myself for an extended period, so I just can't say whether or not I like it. But certainly there was nothing that put me off. I tell you one thing that struck me looking at his site. The site, and this is bringing me back full circle to what Graham just said about my new site, which I haven't announced yet, so don't go looking for it just yet. It's getting built as we speak. This site, MJKZZ, reminded me a lot of a version of my new website, not quite as nice and not quite as complete as mine will be, but yeah, that was the thing just finished. Did you hear that? That means we can go do the diffuser in a second. Great timing. So yeah, the last comment I would make about the MJKZZ thing is, it looks like a legit company. It seems to be a nice guy, an honest chap, doing good business, selling high-end stuff, and he's got a great selection on his website. He is based in Vienna, Austria, so Chris can just walk down the road and pick up a 10X objective for get the HR, Chris. It's $5,464. Get two, send one to me. So there's that. It's in Vienna. It would be nice to have something like this in your home country, but of course there isn't just yet. Be patient. There may be. Okay, enough of that. There's one thing that he has for sale on his page, which gave me a good chuckle, was you can get Zerine there at a discounted price for the license. Who knew? I don't think that Rick knows that. I'll ask him. But anyway, it's got all kinds of other stuff. Lots of great stages, plates, cheese plates, lab lifters, things like that. All the stuff I recommend, he's got it over there. Okay, so that was a great timing on that comment. Let me see. Let's go over there. Let me see first of all if I can make this, if this phone is going to work when I disconnect it. It might not. It won't, because I'm using the Wi-Fi. I'm not using the Wi-Fi. And if I turn that on, everything else breaks. So, hang on, I'm just thinking. I'll bring it over here. That's what I'll do. I'll bring it over here. Bear with me. All right, so the deal is this. I use this material. Let me switch cameras here. I use this material it's kind of, it looks like paper, but it's not. I discovered, somebody told me what it was on Tuesday. I can't remember. It's Tyvek or something like that. It's rip proof. It won't tear. It cleans easily. You can print on it. What I do is I take pieces that are about that big there, and I sellotape them, sticky tape them to an MF12, which I can't find. I had one behind me a minute ago, but I just tape them around the front. That's the first layer of diffusion. The second layer of diffusion is, if I'm using 3 layers, is just a sheet that I hang in front of that, separated from the first level of diffusion. And what he's asking about is how the third one is done, and that's important because it will change the way your pictures come out. So if this is my specimen on its stand, what I do is I take a sheet about this size and I roll it up until it forms a nice tight roll like that, and holds that tunnel shape when you suspend it. Then I just take a little piece of Gorilla Tape, bend it in the middle, pinch it together, and stick it on right dead center like that. Then I have a bendy arm with a clamp. These things are the dog's breakfast. Not breakfast, you know what I meant. This clips on a tall pole that I have by the rig that has a crossbar on it that sticks sideways down the table. This clamps on there so that this hangs straight down over my table like that. All right, so the subject is here. You can't see it because of the angle. We won't switch back though. So what I do is the clamp is on the same level as the subject, but normally this is up out of the way, way out of the way. When I'm finished lining up the shot, I've done everything I need to do. I've got the objective where I want it, the lights where I want it. I've done a test shot. The last thing I do before I turn off live view is bring this down like that, push it down until the edges go over my XYZR stage, because I don't want the edges to drag back and touch the pin or anything. So this goes all the way over, and then I pull it forward, and by holding the alligator clamp you can move it without it rotating, and make sure this is tight. If this gets loose, that can happen, and you don't want that. So that's all I do, and once it's there, unless I have to, I don't move it. If I'm shooting the same insect, I can just reach under there and rotate him a little bit or move him for the next shot without having to mess with this. Most of the time it just sits here, and all of my light has to go through this to get to the subject. And the way it works is, by the time the light hits this, it's already so diffused, this just becomes a glowy tunnel of light, which is why the light in most of my pictures just has no directionality to it. It's just light, and it's coming from every angle. And that's that's the way I do it, and that's why I love this stuff so much, because it has this beautiful limpness to it that will, see how it can hang in either direction, long ways or sideways. Paper won't do that. You have to pick away with the paper. This is not paper, it's Mylar. Mylar, that's the name of the stuff, Mylar. And you can print on it on a inkjet printer. The plotter that this came with was an inkjet plotter. That's how I know. Any questions about that? I'm so far behind, but we've covered everything that I had to, I think. Let me see. I mean, we've got 9 minutes left. How did that go by so fast? But I covered everything, didn't I? The big news is going to be the searchable database. I know that a lot of you are irritated by the fact that you can't find my stuff. It's hard. it is really hard to come up with a way that works for everybody, but I'm trying. I really am. Somebody asked me today, hey, why don't you do a 3D printer or a 3D printer file exchange thing over on Discord? And I thought, that's a brilliant idea, we should do that. So I called Curly Toes and said, hey, let's do a Discord thing for DIY jobs and printing so that we can do that. And he just sent me a screenshot of the title of the room that we already have and we've had forever, which is DIY workshop and 3D printing. So yeah, it's over there. We've already got one. And when I get into it, when I get the printer and learn how to use it, oh, it's going to be, yeah, you hold on to your hat, because I'm going to be printing everything that yeah, I can think of, and we'll be having all kinds of good stuff traded in there as far as programs and plans and code and everything. So don't forget to give me your name if you want to come to the Fusion 360 tutorial get started session, which is going to be so much fun. We're not going to have time for me to go over the 18 great ideas thing. It was just a thing that we did, an exercise we did over on Patreon. Patreon's the thing where people who support me, they get private time, small group time together, and we do macro stuff. And we're talking about ways to make it more interesting, and we got 18 fantastic suggestions, and we're going to be doing probably all of them. I'm getting votes for all of them, but probably the most exciting one was doing a virtual field trip. I take you on a virtual field trip to a place that, you know, it doesn't matter if I've never been there, but with photographs and everything, we'll go through and we'll do a field trip, and we'll find stuff, and we'll learn how to photograph it together. It probably is confusing to you, and it sounds more like a hallucination than a macro video, but no, it will be good. It will be good. Like macro photography in the Scottish Highlands. I've got lots of pictures of the Scottish Highlands, so we'll just go hike up there and we'll find things. I'll tell you how to light them, how to position them, how to photograph them. Yeah, it'll be fun. And there were loads of other good ideas. So if you've been thinking about supporting me, but just there wasn't enough fun to be had in doing that, now there's a lot of fun as well. So yeah, think about that. Bud is here. Greetings, Bud. And David says it would be easier to organize your videos by technical difficulties. That way we'll know which one is which. Yeah, you could do that. If you were being really hateful, you could suggest that. You mean like the videos with no sound, videos with buffering? Yeah, you'd never know, because they'd all have all those things going on. Oh, hang on, we've got somebody new from Waterloo, Canada. First of all, Waterloo's not in Canada. It was a battle, I think. Yeah, so you're confused about that. But Deponcier, welcome. Welcome. First time. I'd have remembered your name if it wasn't. So there's that. Michael Wallace. Hey, it's beginning of autumn in New Zealand. Confused down there, aren't you? Yeah, beginning of fungi season. Fantastic. Are you going to... oh, you need to know how to get on Discord. Go to the show notes underneath here, you know, where the video it will be. This will become a video later today. Go to this video or any of my other videos and scroll down to the bottom of the description, and there'll be a thing, how to find me or where to find me. And one of them will be Discord, and right next to it will be a link. That link is an invitation. You click on that link and it will whisk you away and dump you in Discord. And when you get over there, you just say, hi, I'm new, and somebody will take you under their wing. Or if they don't have wings, they'll just say hi back to you, but something like that will happen. So that's all you've got to do. It's in all my videos. Any video will have that at the bottom of the description. And let me see. Okay, David Bluers here from Bolsover. I don't know where that is. I really am. You've got me there. Bolsover. It sounds rude. I don't know where it is. Lance and Angie are having a chit chat. So you've been checking for the 3D glasses and they're not available. That's a problem. If they don't become available, we might have to delay the competition, because I mean, I can see them, but I get a terrible headache when I cross my eyes. Let me see. It would be good to have a group chat about stereo photography with a few of us, see if we can work out any teething issues. I think that sounds like a brilliant idea. Do you, you know what you can do is over on Discord, you can do that. You guys can get together in the lounge or whatever and have that. And if you want me or Rick to come by and answer questions, I can do that too. Just let me know. Let me see. Oh, Baconmeister, still in the hospital. Oh, for crying out loud. That's terrible. You've been in there for 2 weeks, haven't you? Heavens to Betsy, that's too bad. All right, Pinner. Yeah, Pinner, northwest London. I know where that is roughly. Couldn't get there though. All right, so let me see. I'm moving a bit faster. The details in the antenna base are particularly great. What am I able to tell you about the lens? I can't tell you the name or the company. I can say high magnification, apochromatic, and non-traditional design. I may say expensive, but I don't know that yet. I would guess that would be a word I would add. And bulletproof suitcase is the other thing I might add. Yeah, I am so excited about it. The photography so far has blown me away, and I don't get excited about that very often. Joseph, you're coming to the Fusion 360 workshop. That makes me very happy to know. You are welcome, and you are on the list. That phone is straight out of some Cronenbergian nightmare. There's nothing of the sort. It's just an iPhone. My version of an iPhone. Oh, dearie me. You know that took me all of 10 minutes to make while I was having my coffee the other day. I came across a big box of eyeballs at the thrift shop, and I thought, you know, I'll find something to do with them, and I did. I made an iPhone. Arthur, you're coming to the 360. You are on the list. Oh, yeah, I might want to change that folder name. Well, if you read it, I misspelled it, so it's not what you think. It's not what you read. No, I don't think so. I did something similar the other day. I may have given the game away, but yeah, there's a lot more I need to tell you about this lens system. And the second they say I can, I will. I promise. All right, let me see. Lee, thank you for making that comment. Lee said my beard looks better. I decided the hobo look wasn't doing it, so I went to trim it and ended up basically cutting it off. So I let it grow back, and I'm going to keep it short this time. So I tried. I mean, it was entertaining for a while, but it certainly itched a lot. Hypertonic saline. Yeah, if Robbie's talking about the eye, the eye on the wasp. How I restored it was with hypertonic saline. Hypertonic saline is, well, if you dissolve 1 mole of sodium chloride in water, you get a wet mole, and you get tonic saline or normal saline, right? That's what that means. If you then force more salt to dissolve in the water, it becomes hypertonic, meaning the oncotic pressure goes up in the water. That's all you need to do. If you've got normal saline, Robbie, if you just add some sodium chloride to it, that'll make it hypertonic, and that kind of will seep across the membrane of the eye, and it'll draw liquid in after it, and it kind of reopposes the darker elements that pull away when the eye goes pink. Does that make sense? And it won't it won't do it with normal saline, I don't think. But if you concentrate it more, it'll do it. If you leave it on too long, the opposite happens, and it'll shrivel it up if you get fluids leaving the bug. So you really just want to paint it on. It worked for mine anyway, and they still look good after all this time. I think they stuck back up there. Let me see. Where was I? Darren Edmonds. First time visit. Oh, I wish I'd seen this earlier. Cornwall. We were just talking about Devon the other day on this. No, it wasn't Devon, was it? It was Dorset. I get the two confused, but Cornwall, I don't get confused because it's right at the end. I'm from Sussex originally, which is at the other end, near Kent. You know that. You live there. Welcome. If I'd known you were here earlier, I'd have said hello earlier. But Darren, come back. We do this every week, twice a week actually. If you are up at 2 o'clock in the morning on Tuesdays, most people aren't. So Lee, doing a jewel bug, but getting loads of glare off my bug, especially speed lights. My speed lights are diffused and got the bug in tracing paper, but still loads of flare. Okay, well. The way I treat flare, the way I shoot jewel beetles or any the tiger beetles, anything that is just super shiny like that, is triple diffusion and multiple low power flashes. I've tried everything else, and there's nothing that is consistently this good. So I'll use 4 or 5 MF12s or whatever small flashes you have on very low power, and all spread out. Excuse me, I have to answer this because it might be it's for a signature. Just chat amongst yourselves. I don't think I've ever done that before, and that post lady is going to think I am the rudest person ever because I just scribbled. It might have been on her arm and then ran back in. Sorry about that. That was rude. I've been receiving packages full of robots all day, and it's getting ridiculous. Okay, we're about done. I forgot what we were talking about when the bell went off there. Oh, the bug, yeah. If you use any high power light, then your diffusion layers are not going to be able to keep up with it. So if you have 2 speed lights or 1 speed light, you've got it on 1/4 power, you are going to have a hot spot. And if you can see, if you're the bug and you're looking through 3 layers of diffusion and you see a hot spot when that thing goes up, when the flash goes off, you're going to have specular highlights on that bug. And you can actually do that. Get behind your rig, put your head down there and trigger it, and see if you get a burny spot on your retina where that light was, you know you're going to get those reflections. Now, there are other things that you can do. You can use polarization, but honestly, the cross polarization for a jewel bug will do it, but it takes something away from the picture. I want the reflected colors. I want all of the vibrance. I just don't want the hot spots. So I recommend more light. If you don't have multiple lights, here's a thing that you can do. Use a single speed light, but point it away from your rig and use white bounce cards as individual light sources. So you may have 1 flash pointing away from your subject and then 6 not legal, letter-sized white reflectors, bouncing the light back in at six. That's the same as having 6 flashes. It's a pain to set up and to direct them all, but you can do it that way. Low power, diffused and separated lights is the way you get rid of those shiny bits. There is no shortcut. So you were originally from Northern Ireland, John, and you just moved down to Dublin merely 25 years ago. Okay, well, I'm a bit late on catching up. Stephen Kershaw, did you ever relook at continuous lighting? Some really good small cob light. Yes, Steve, I use continuous lighting to this day, and I don't like it because I'm not as good with it as I'd like to be, but I do use it. There are circumstances under which it's great. I don't like using long exposures with this equipment, and yeah, it's just a little harder for me to get the quality of pictures that I like. But I have nothing against using it, and I've done plenty of videos on it. And the cob lights, by cob he means chip on board. The lights that have multiple LED sources, and they're all chipped, so you can change the wavelength mix in them. Very nice stuff. And yeah, I think that if I was to be doing it, I'd use that. I actually have a cob light in a portable. I don't know where that is either. Everything's kind of gone astray. No, here it is. This is the kind of light that I use when I do use continuous light. This is a fantastic light from Small Rig that I use for everything. This thing is so bright, and you can change the mix of colors in it very subtly. It's very nice. It does a great job. So let me jump around to the questions. A proud liberal asks, is there a preferred method for using Lightroom's new AI denoise feature in conjunction with photo stacking on individual images versus the final stacked images? And inquiring minds want to know, don't they though? That they do. And I don't know what the answer is, but generally speaking, I would, with new stuff, and I don't know anything about the denoise in the AI denoise in Lightroom. Is this on the release that just came out? But I would say, as a rule of thumb, don't do anything pre-stack. Do it post-stack, because you don't know, or you do know, what's going to happen in the PMAX algorithm in the stacker. The pyramid algorithm, the stacker, is going to do things to your contrast and your dynamic range, and changing the amount of softening from denoise is problematic, I think. I'd wait and see what you get from the stack, and then apply these AI adjustments. That was a bad sentence, wasn't it? Sorry about that. Struggling finding 3D glasses. I will endeavor to find a source. Did you get any feedback from Joseph about that? Because he knows these things. Yeah, U2's Rattle and Hum was suggested the other day. So were a couple of other Frank Zappa songs, I think. Yeah, everybody had very good hum jokes, and I was just sitting here listening to the hum. It was very depressing. And that now Joseph has started speaking French to Angie, so I think it probably is time we close things down. Stuart hasn't signed an NDA. You have, actually. I did it for you. So there you go. You're all set. When is the big reveal for the mystery gizmo? I do not know. And I'll tell you why I don't know, because the people that will tell me that are at the big NAB show. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Soon. I hope soon, because yeah, it's important. It is cruel, me not telling you, but I can't contain myself. I have to talk about it when it's out and being used. I just can't tell you what it is. Slippery soap is here. And this must be the first time you've been here, sir, or madam, because I would remember this name. So welcome, Slippery. You know who's not here today, who I was going to give a shout out to, was Curious. Curious did a great thing. He's had videos in the last month where he's made a full frame camera out of bits of electronic stuff, and he's made a vertical focus stacking rig. Yeah, in his spare time. Go over and check his channel out, Curious Scientist. The man's a genius. He's the fourth genius I've talked about today. All right. Yeah, Photographer 85 thinks he knows the company, probably is wrong. And I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm not seeing any other questions. Slippery soap. That is very hard to say. You try saying it, not saying slippery slope. Slippery soap is a fan of mine. That doesn't sound right, does it? But there you go. Welcome. Glad you made it. And it's good to have you here. Please come back. We do this every week. Yeah, I'm going to have to call it quits here because we're out of time. The belt drive rail from MJKZZ moves the stage about 50 millimeters per revolution. So a 400-step motor does just 125 microns without a microstep driver. But it can move very fast, over 100 millimeters per second. Yeah, nothing you say there would make me want to use it, though, for a lot of reasons. Sam, it's 2200 over here, so good night, and catch you on the next one. Good night, Sam. Thank you for coming. And yeah, everybody's saying goodbye. You guys are great, and I can't wait to see you again next week. I have the weekend off. That is not even a funny joke. I don't have anything off. I'm going to be very, very busy here. I'm just not doing a live stream this weekend, unless anybody has one they want me to do. I think probably there's no way we can do the Fusion 360 this weekend, but yeah, as soon as we get that thing posted, I'll let you guys know. Let me know if you want some of this diffusion material. When it's gone, it's gone. I don't think you can buy it anymore, or maybe you can. I don't know where you get it from. And that is about it. So everybody's waiting. Curious was here. He was here all along. He was just being quiet. Curious, your site is awesome, my friend. Yeah, go over there, guys. Look at his site. Learn how to make your own full frame camera in your spare time with bits that are left over. That's what you should do. Ah, dear. And Robert is asking Bud if Bud has used Allan's diffusion material, and Bud is going to tell him, heck yeah. Let's see what he says. I do use Allan's diffuser. It's really good, is what he says. Brilliant. And then Robert goes on to tell Bud how good his pictures were on Discord, which is very cool. All right, guys, you guys are great. And let me see. That's it. I got to all the questions. I think if I didn't, I'm sorry. I tried. And I think I covered everything on the list too. So you guys have a fantastic coming up weekend. And I'll see you again next week. Take care. Stay safe. Adios.